today I have a message called Extending Right Now. This is in the form of a talk. And it's interesting to me because I have been listening to some, I guess you would call them prophetic messages, maybe, on YouTube. I don't really have the language of this, but there are Christians who will say, like, God put this word on my heart, or God gave me this word to share with you. And I realize as I'm listening to them, oh, that's what I do. I just didn't have any framework for it or any any past experience of it. But I'm listening to these people and realizing, oh, we're doing the same thing. That's interesting. Those words don't come to mind for me to describe what I'm doing, but when I hear them say it, I can recognize, oh, that's just what this is. This is a very natural thing for us to be influenced and inspired by the whole of what we are, and to just share that with each other, whether it's only in thought, which is a very great way of communicating with each other, even though we don't really recognize it, or by speaking it, or in other ways of expression. But it is the most natural thing in the world for us, and coming to recognize that is like, it's a great relief. It's a homecoming. So, okay, here's extending right now. The first statement I got was, the world seems to be whatever you are projecting or extending right now. So right now, if I feel joyful, I'm allowing the extension of the love that's shining behind everyone and everything. Where ego would trip me up, it would have me look at the surface of fear I project upon everyone and everything. This is what I do in time and space. And any I could say this, not just me, I'm not alone, but I'm not here to judge the ones I'd call other, because they're not other. So, excuse me. When I'm in any degree of tension, and as I go through and allow my mind to heal, I realize that tension is always present in one way or another. Time and space is made of it, right? But the light can shine through. But when I'm in a state of tension, I'm projecting fear upon everyone and everything. Whether I'm giving you an especially positive surface or an especially negative surface, that doesn't matter, because those surfaces conflict with each other and do the job I hired them for, which is to convince me that there is conflict. It's possible for one thing to be unlike another thing, and conflict is possible, and evil is possible. That's why I, and any I can say this, invented time and space for this play of opposites. But I'm always either projecting fear upon the surface of the very many different looking surfaces I made up in my imagination, because time and space is imagination, or I'm allowing the love everyone and everything is to extend through everyone and everything I see. It's one love. So there's no differentiation here. The surfaces look differentiated, but the more I understand, I don't know anything about how to comment upon this differentiation of surfaces. The less attention I pay to that, the better it seems to be. The more attention I pay to the whole of the love that is shining behind any surface at all, no matter how it appears, good or bad, the easier it seems to be for me. The more access I have to the calm that's available here for everyone right now. It's like this great well, this great abundance that's here for everyone. When is always here right now, behind the surfaces. And if we're disturbed by the surfaces, it's our own fear we're projecting. So this is like a 101 on how to navigate the dream I made up. Okay, so ego sends thoughts about making things in the world better. We think this world of imagination should be improved. And along with that thinking is the idea that things in the world are caused by other things in the world outside of us. and that those things have nothing to do with us. Now, if we go back to the reminder, the remembrance, getting closer to remember who we really are together, that everything I see in the world is either the projection of the fear I hold on to because I mistakenly and crazily think it's useful, or the extension of the love I am, you are, we are, everyone is. Only those two things. Then I am related to everything I see because it's either my fear or the love that exists. That's the only thing that exists. The fear is imagined, the love is real, allowing that love to extend. In both cases, I'm involved. As the seer, I'm involved. That doesn't mean I need to blame myself or anyone else ever for any surface I see, in any way I'm categorizing it or characterizing it. It does mean I can always take responsibility. So ego will send thoughts about making things in the world better, and I can always turn back toward what inspires me at the moment. I don't have to struggle or blame in an attempt to improve. I can take my attention off whatever ego is saying about any improvements, and I can turn toward what is actually here right now, behind whatever it is that's supposed to be improved. Maybe there's struggle and blame that goes into that improvement. If I look at what's behind it, peace is always here. Peace is the true nature of everyone I'm ever going to meet. Stillness is always here. Underneath or behind or within any cacophony I have imagined, peace is here. Stillness is here. Stillness is the true nature of anyone I'm ever going to meet. Peace is the truth, hidden or not, about anything I ever encounter. Yes, I can hide peace and stillness with a surface of fear. That's what I can do in imagination. That's what I've used imagination for, to project a surface that hides the reality of what is always here. Peace and stillness and love are always here, and I'm always involved in anything that hides this peace or stillness. It's important that I take responsibility. Why? Because it's my dream, it's my hallucination, it's my illusion, and I need to take responsibility to agree to let it go. My favorite little toy, and to agree to allow to shine forth all the peace that's here, all the stillness that's here, all the love and light that is always here no matter what. And I am one with everyone, so any I can say this. And as various seemingly separate eyes remember and agree, I can just let all of this nonsense go and allow what is truly here and will be here eternally to make itself obvious to me, then all the other eyes are helped out in the remembrance of who they are too. That's how it looks. Okay, we are unable to judge anything that occurs here because it has never occurred. So you know that everything you dreamed in your dream last night didn't happen, you dreamed it. But I don't know 100% that every experience I have in my day-to-day didn't occur because I'm just dreaming. The dreaming is insignificant. What is here is very significant. It's real and it's eternal. Peace, stillness, love, light, whatever you want to call it, truth, whatever word you need, and you don't even need words because we invented words. That's why I said, I can talk about this stuff and I can seem to share it on YouTube or something like that. But really, I don't have to do that. I can just think because I'm connected to you in thought always. And that is also enough. Now, at different times, different things seem to be called for, and we could follow that easily. So today I felt called to speak it, and that's fine. I don't pretend to understand the plan to help all of us remember who we are together. But parts of that plan that are relevant to what I experience as a day can get made obvious to me. And then once they're made obvious to me, it's easy for me to fall in with that plan. So there's a plan for all of us to remember who we are, to drop all the nonsense we've been holding on to. And that plan connects all of us. And as parts of that plan get made obvious to us, and we're willing, so willing to have it be made obvious to us, we can easily follow without trying to figure out, well, why? Why do I just think? Sometimes I just talk at other times. Who knows? But when it gets made obvious, it gets made obvious, and then it's easy to follow. So that's the nice part about it. Let's see if I have anything more to say. We are unable to judge anything that occurs here because it has never occurred. So when I'm getting caught up in an apparent occurrence, this happened, seems to have happened, and now I feel triggered. I believe it causes my feeling. My feeling is always caused, if it's a not good feeling, it's always caused by a lie. So a not good feeling is just the alarm clock alerting me, and it does alert me, that I have believed a lie and I should go investigate. So that's why I don't feel good. Not because something apparently bad has happened, but because my attention is needed. I need to address something. What was the thought I just believed? And from that thought, I can always direct my attention back to what is here today. Peace. Always, every day, without fail. Peace is here because peace is prior to and beyond time and space. It does not come from time and space. Time and space is what I invented to cover up the ever-present peace, the ever-present stillness. And why do I say I invented time and space? Because there's only one of us, and we could say we. But the instructions I get are just take responsibility and address it. And when you're called to explain it, and that's it. You don't have to talk about any other I and what any other I should or shouldn't be doing. Just the recognition that you're all connected in this one self, and that you in your experience today can take responsibility for every feeling you have, every experience you have, and you can be responsible for your mind and where your mind is focused. And what is there to be grateful for? The simplicity that the remedy is always to focus on the peace that is here, on the stillness that is here, and to wait and to pause and to know you'll be given a nudge or instructions, and you'll be able to follow that. Gratitude for the instructions that are given, and gratitude for the ability to follow them. It takes discipline. It takes remembrance. It takes the priority of making the most important thing most important. The most important thing is that peace and stillness, or whatever synonyms you want to use, love, light, that's the only reality. In every form we invented, all the varying forms that can seem to conflict can be used by spirit, by what we are, by this I that we all are, in the service of helping us remember that peace and stillness are what we are, and they're the remedy to every seeming situation, and they are enough. And that it's always well worth our time to rest and relax into that peace and stillness, to practice that, and to await instructions. So await instructions is really being underlined. I did not know that it would be, so that is interesting to me as I speak this. Let's see. You are always dedicating your mind either to love or to fear. So you are in charge of your mind. That is very important. You aren't just some reactor reacting to real things. We can only react, bounce off of an imaginary thing. That would be any seemingly different facet of time or space is a thing we imagined, a thing we invented, and we react pretending that these things can cause our feeling. Not true. Our feeling just indicates, are you focused upon what you are, upon what is true, upon what is always here? And that would be the feeling of peace, the feeling of joy, happiness. Or are you focused upon what you invented, what is real, and what will pass away? Did I say what was real? What you invented, what is not real, but you're pretending it's real, and what will pass away? And that would be any kind of stress or tension or unhappiness. And it just shows me my mind, which I'm in charge of. I can give my mind to Spirit and say, take this and use it, because Spirit is who I really am. Or I can try to use my mind to power this illusion and to believe the illusion is real. And it's always up to me. I always get to make that decision. There's a point past decision. Some people call it choiceless awareness. We're not there yet. And don't get tripped up or fooled by some reflection you've made. Sometimes we can run into a teacher, and the teacher will seem to believe, I have attained a state of mind you have not. I have to be careful with my wording. It's always what we've sent out there to reflect back at us. This teacher who seems to have attained a state of mind that seems to be not our state of mind currently, and it seems this teacher can give this to us. If there's any small sense of tension or stress or inadequacy when looking at this teacher, it is important to look beyond the facade of the teacher, of the personality, of the body, and to understand peace and stillness is here too. Not that they have a peace that is inaccessible in this moment to everybody else. They don't. They are the peace that dictator, seeming dictator, wearing the dictator costume, is over there right now. They are the peace that I am, and they are the peace that you are. So if you look at another figure, whether it's a dictator or a murderer or a guru or who, a philanthropist, a seemingly nice person, whether the facade seems to be good or bad, don't be fooled. It's just your imagination. Your imagination has tossed out all of these differing characters. And behind the facade of all of these differing characters is the same peace you are. And when we're finally willing to remember that, it gets a whole lot easier. So don't be fooled by any facade you're tossing out there in fear, and try to start. When I say don't, this is a reminder for me, because I'll listen to this later. Try to start analyzing and interpreting, or maybe even moralizing and comparing. Then we get lost, because what is actually here? Peace and stillness. Let's say I liked this guru for a while. I followed this guru. I idolize this guru. Then I find something out about this guru. Maybe somebody listening is going through this. And then it seems like, okay, now the guru is evil, is demonic. I can do two things when it comes to my illusions, and they're the same thing. I can idolize something I've picked out as separate, some person, some body, or I can demonize, and they're exactly the same thing, and it doesn't matter. I can idolize Jesus or I can demonize Jesus. It doesn't matter which one I'm doing, and I'm doing it. Always take responsibility for what you're feeling and what you're experiencing and what you see. Take responsibility, not blame. Blame doesn't exist. We invented it to cover up the love that's always here. And now look behind the facade. I can look behind the facade I've projected out of fear and see the same love behind the one I've idolized and the one I demonized. And to make the decision and to agree, yes, this love is allowed to extend now through everyone and everything, because that's the real thing about us. I've been pretending 100% of these other things that are anything but equal love forever. Now, that being said, when fear isn't present, how have I been talking for 20 minutes? I just noticed that. When fear is present, I shouldn't deny that. And it's better not to take action from fear, to force myself to pretend I'm going to allow the love to extend instead of taking a defensive action. Now, if I currently feel safer taking some sort of defensive action, I shouldn't try to stop myself or force myself before I'm ready. I can just observe how I feel as I'm taking actions. And I can take those little moments to stop and to remember the peace and stillness, and then continue on. Time will be very kind to us as we evolve and we learn and we unlearn, and we do not have to force ourselves in accordance with some ideal, like an ideal of I'm going to see the love and allow it to extend. Therefore, I won't allow myself to take any action that seems defensive. You don't have to bother with your behavior. Your behavior is caused by your thinking. So just work on the thinking, take those little pauses to work on the thinking, and the behavior takes care of itself. So you never have to get caught up in some tussle to try to move the behavior in one direction or another. You can just work on the thinking, and the behavior takes care of itself. We're not even capable of analyzing, interpreting, or judging the behavior. So it's not what really wants our time and attention. What's really worthy of our time and attention right now is how our minds are focused, what thoughts we believe, and setting aside the thoughts of tension and stress and taking time to focus on the peace and the stillness that is here, and allowing that to be in charge, and recognizing that as the true nature of everyone and everything. Okay, so where are we? I think I said you're always dedicated in your mind either to love or fear. So when I've noticed, I've dedicated my mind to fear, the pause is my friend. I just pause and reorient, remind myself of love and peace, take a breath, await instructions. Because when I've been tense, I have been taking instructions from fear. And we're going to run into this a lot. We'll see a lot of times during our day, I was taking instructions from fear. Well, now it's time to take instructions from love, so I better reorient myself in that direction. That's what time is for. That's what the rest of this illusion is for. Reorienting toward what we are and just focusing there and awaiting instructions. Okay. When the ego sends thoughts about wanting something from someone, you can always stop to observe that they are spirit with you, and you are both encompassed by spirit. So you can notice when we want something from someone. Currently, I want my kids to take a bath, and I want something from them. But I can also stop and notice that tension, and it won't cost me anything to take a moment to focus on the peace and the stillness that is actually here underneath and behind the illusion I'm making with thought. And I can always just kind of set the charge of that illusion, any judgment I'm making about that illusion, and what needs to happen next, what must happen next. You can feel that tension there, and that tension is the alarm clock that says, focus elsewhere, this won't serve you. So I can focus elsewhere, and if someone's supposed to take a bath, it's going to happen. I can await instructions. And as I'm awaiting instructions, pausing in peace and stillness, instructions can be made obvious to ones that I call other. So when we just relax into the peace and calm that is here, we make the instructions of that peace and calm and love more readily available to anyone else we would call other. It's like clearing up the channel, clearing up the conduit for communication, so loving messages can be delivered and received by everybody. So everything we think about, everything we run into is really an everybody project, because as we learn to relax into the calm, peace, and stillness that are always here for all of us, as we learn to remember to take a moment to recognize the true nature of everyone, regardless of any fear I'm projecting on them, that's just a surface and it's not real. The time and space aspects of anyone, including the body, are not real. The spirit of them, the pure spirit of them, is real. Look at that blazing light. That is real. Just by taking a moment to rest there, we open up the conduits for communication so everyone can more readily receive the loving messages that are just waiting to flow through to them and inspire them. So we can help everybody receive the instructions they have been awaiting that lead them toward their true happiness. And as we allow everyone we're with to be led toward their true happiness, we allow that for us. We're not going to allow anything for us that we wouldn't allow for anybody. We're not going to allow anything for everybody that we wouldn't allow for us. And if we seem to be enacting a different scenario, it's part of our imagination. And, oh, I didn't know if I was going to go here. Okay, I can go here. I can go here. All right, here we go. There are various spiritual stories out there that seem to be fearful. Maybe it would be one like the earth is splitting and you're going to go this way and somebody else is going to go that way. But don't worry, they'll be fine. And, but it still triggers fear. Well, the fear, it's good to have that triggered because it can show me what I'm attached to. But a story about earth splitting is still a story about time and space. And in order to allow time and space to get used by the love I am, which is the love that everyone, let's say the earth's splitting and I'm going this way and they're going that way, right? According to this story, it's just an illusion. It's just a hallucination. Let's not give it more importance than it ever had. But let's say there's this story and the people who seem to be splitting the other way, they are the love and peace I am. How could we possibly be split? This is the time to laugh. This is the most ridiculous story ever told, that we could split. We can't split. We cannot split. So all we have to do is hold that within our hearts. And then all the seeming events we experience in time and space can be used in the service of our right now unity. And instead of thinking, I know what's happening or why it's happening, I honestly don't need to know anything about anything. And focusing on what we are is enough. So that's my job. And because it's such a simple job, I am fully capable of doing it. It's just, do I want to do it? And that's another good thing. Do I want to do it? I can tell when I'm deep in some sort of discomfort. I prefer what I think is familiar and comfortable to me, pain and stress and tension, and the idea that there's a separate me that controls separate things. I still prefer that to what I am. But little by little, every day, my commitment to what I am and what you are and what everyone is, past all stories of anything, any drama, my commitment to that expands and expands and expands. And as I allow that, I am reassured. I am reassured because this vast spirit we can relax into, this unity, this peace, this stillness, obviously knows more than any separate self could ever know. It is obviously fully capable. We're in the United States and elections coming up. Who are you going to elect? Well, elect everyone. Elect who we all are, spirit. Elect spirit, peace, stillness, to run your day, to rule your experience, to give you instructions, to guide your way, to help you see every candidate or everyone talking about any candidate as peace. And anything else that seems to be happening is a projection of fear I have put upon them, on them. They're really peace. They're really stillness. But what have I chosen to see instead? This busy and contrasting surface of bodies, personalities, and that's okay. Because love is here to undo everything that never was in a very safe, gentle, and loving way. And we can just rest in what's here and allow it to do its work with great kindness and with peace. So wishing you well today, wishing you peace and happy healing of the mind for us all.